What's up, good people? What it do, good people? What's up, still a fan, still a nation, as I grab the towel and get it ready to go. What's up, folks? What's up? Welcome to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and we're about to get into this thing, man. Let me just wait for a few of you guys to get up in here. You know how we do. But I want to welcome all of the early viewers. I definitely appreciate that. So like I said, man, we're going to wait just a hot second. Get a few of you guys up in here commenting, and then we'll start rolling. Got a few things to talk about here tonight, man. A few things to get into tonight. Not a whole lot. The Steelers were on a bye week, of course, so there's not a ton to talk about. But we have a couple things that we will definitely get into and we will definitely address. So we'll definitely do that, man. So hope everybody is doing well. And I hope you guys are ready. Let's get to it. Let me see if we got any early viewers so far. Give me a hot second. Let's see if anybody's in here early. Ali Howard, Steve Williams, what's up? A few of you guys, it looks like you guys are funneling in a little later. No big deal. Drew Wilson, what's up, Drew? Pino P, more AGWS. And those are the early viewers right there. But like I said, man, we'll wait a few minutes before we jump into it. Anything you guys might want me to hit on really quick before we get started? What's up to Sherman Slaughter, Michael Garman? And I'm trying to get started a lot faster for you guys, man. So we'll go ahead and get started, man. You know, it's not fair to hold off for you guys, who are already here. So like I said, not a whole lot to talk about tonight, man. I always have the time open for you guys, to do up to an hour. I don't think the show is going to be that long tonight, to be honest. There's not a lot to talk about. There's a few things to address. Of course, we're going to wait until the pregame show to really dive into what I think, the Steelers need to do, how to approach the Dolphins. I haven't really watched the Dolphins, so I don't really know where they're weak at. But, we'll talk a little bit of game plan tonight, and then we'll dive more into it on the pregame show, which will probably be coming to you guys on Saturday. All right, you guys know that's the one that I can't really commit to because I never really know, when I'm going to get into it. Now, again, if you guys want to call in tonight, the queue is open. You see the phone number right there for you guys that may not be able to see it. It is area code 619-924-0818. You know the routine. You call in. I give you a few moments to say your thing, say your piece, say whatever it is you want to say, get off your chest, and then we move on to the next one. And my only request is that you guys keep it short. Just keep it short and to the point. So, all right, what do we want to talk about first, man? A couple of trades out there in the world. Let me look at my information here to make sure I get all the big ones. Some people are wondering why the Pittsburgh Steelers are not players in the trade market. And you guys have to understand, what is it that, we deem to be a need that we need to trade for? That's number one. Number two, what do the Steelers have to offer? Being as that, we kind of bust our gun a little early with the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, right? So you got to understand that, man. From a business standpoint, the Steelers already went out there and, they put out that first round pick for Minkah. And what does it take to get another person? And some of the people that I see, people saying that we should have went after, again, I think some people, this is not going to be an attack on folks that don't necessarily know football, the ins and out, the X's and O's. Is just trying to explain to you guys, just because, it's player name recognition, it doesn't necessarily mean they would work out with the Steelers. I've seen a lot of people, saying X player we should go after him. I've seen a guy say, and not to say that this guy wouldn't help the offense, of course he would. But I seen a guy say the other day, man, I think it was on Facebook, the dude said, the Steelers, he said, if I was the GM, I would be on the phone with the Atlanta Falcons and I would give whatever they want for Julio Jones. Dude, come on. What are you asking? What are you asking them to give up? Again, we don't have a first round pick next year, courtesy of Minkah Fitzpatrick, which I'm happy with. I'm cool with that pick. But what do you think that we're going to be able to offer to get Julio Jones in return? Why would the Falcons be wanting to give him away? Number one. Number two, the contract that this dude has now. I mean, you're asking the Steelers to eat a mighty big contract there. I'm just saying, some of these requests by the fan base is just unreal. And you're not considering other things. So let's take a look, man, at some of the people who's shaking and moving, man. Let's see. Emmanuel Sanders. Sanders. I was saying Sanders and Samuels together, getting my words tied up there. Emmanuel Sanders traded to the 49ers. That could be interesting. You know, with the type of offense that they run, that kind of that quick style, I can see Emmanuel Sanders fitting right into that mode, whether he's in the slot or the outside. That's going to be interesting to watch. Let's keep an eye on that. You know, another guy, very savvy guy that'll be able to help out George Kittle. And you know what, man? I'm happy for Emmanuel Sanders, man. Go to a team that has an opportunity. You know, the Broncos is just not it right now. And if I'm not mistaken, he was there when they won the ring, right? So I think he does have the one ring under his belt. But, you know, the Broncos don't look like they're going to go anywhere anytime soon. That quarterback situation is crazy. And it's funny how you have a guy in John Elway who will go down as one of the greatest NFL quarterbacks of all time. He's GM, you know, the GM for that team, or whatever he is. I don't know if he's the president of football operations, but y'all know what the role that he has with the Broncos. And yet he cannot find a quarterback to stick. I mean, if you saw Joe Flacco in that game, and I know not all of it goes on the quarterback, the offensive line was pitiful, but man, Joe Flacco looked like trash. Horrible in that game. And again, John Elway can't find a quarterback. It's amazing. Maybe they found one in Drew Lock. We'll see. But yeah, man, so he goes to the Niners. Let's see who else we got. Mohamed Sanu goes to the Patriots. Yikes. Sanu goes to the Patriots. That's going to be very interesting, guys. That lets me know that maybe Josh Gordon is going to be out for an extended amount of time. But also, here's what I'm interested about with that. You know, not trying to give the Patriots any type of love, but here, you know, we're football fans, guys, and we're on a bye, so we don't have much to talk about tonight. Hey, man, I wonder where they're going to play Sanu. You know, Sanu, to me, gets off in the slot. He's gotten off in the slot most of his career, even when he was with the Bengals. He's capable of playing on the outside, but it makes me wonder where they're going to play Sanu, because I don't see them moving Edelman to the outside. You know, maybe some, but Edelman, he does his damage in the inside. So it's going to be very interesting, man, to see how they use Sanu, man. I can imagine seeing them, you know, going empty, going 4 wide. You know, I can imagine them having, you know, the 2x2 set, 2 receivers on one side, 2 on the other, and having 2 guys essentially lining up in the slot. Edelman and Sanu, that could get nasty. One extra weapon for Tom Brady as if he needs it. That team is just, it's incredible seeing what they're doing defensively, man. And I don't think any of us have ever seen the Patriots play defense on this level. It's outstanding what they're doing. You got to give them credit. And I hate to say this, folks, but I'm going to say it. It's very possible that they're going to get that 7th ring. And they're going to no longer be tied with our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. It just is what it is, man. They're just that team of this decade. It just is what it is. Like the Chicago Bulls were in Jordan's era when he came back. They're just that team. It's just their time. It is what it is. I don't know. You know. What else, man? Another thing I want to talk about here really quick. I'm probably going to miss some trades, but I'll give you guys one that, you know, that is not really a trade, but a transaction that might affect the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Giants signed former first-round pick Dion Buchanan, and in return for that, guess who they waived? You guessed it. Czar Skipper has been waived by the New York Giants. Yes, Czar Skipper, our beloved hidden gem, if you will, diamond in the rough, whatever you want to call it, whatever metaphor, whatever you want to give him, or comparison, or adjective, superlative, whatever you want to give this guy. Yes, he is now available. He was released by the Giants. I would assume he has to pass through waivers. Let's see what happens. You know, I don't know how the waiver position is for the Pittsburgh Steelers, where we will be, but if he's there, we need to claim him and bring him back to where he belongs. Clearly now we see that we're going to definitely need some help at outside linebacker. Why, you may ask? Oh, well, let me tell you. Anthony Chickillo. What is going on with Chick? What's up with Chick? Putting his hands on his chick. I had to do that. I told you guys, man, I used to be an MC. I mean, you're always an MC, you know, but I just don't actively do music anymore. But your boy did his thing a while back. You guys would be surprised, you know, how well, you know, me and my crew did. But that's neither here or there. So I'm always going to have those corny rhymes and similes, if you will. That's just me. I'm just going to throw them at you guys from time to time. But yeah, Anthony Chickillo put hands on his chick, you know. Oh no. To jail he may go. But there it is, man. So now more than ever, do we need Czar skipper back in the fold. Adaney has been playing, but I mean, you know, he hasn't, you know, he's been playing. It hasn't really done much. You know, I'm going to put, you know, maybe hone in on him a little more and see how he looks, you know, in his one-on-one battles. But, you know, nothing that you can write home about. And again, you know, I'm not expecting that, you know, especially, you know, looking at how the other guys and the other monsters are out there eating. You know, Tua was getting his. Cam was eating out there. Watt was eating out there. Even Bud was, you know, number 48, as Kenya will call him. And I'm going to call him that too as a pass rusher. We'll call him Bud when he's playing against the run. But number 48 out there wreaking some havoc from time to time. Alualu wreaking some havoc from time to time. Hargrave doing what he normally does. So maybe it's hard to see what Adaney is actually doing. But I say all that to say this. The Steelers definitely need help at outside linebacker. Mr. Chick hit the chick, or whatever he did. Listen, I'm just speculating. I don't know. He just has some, you know, that's what he did. Supposedly she showed some damages from whatever the altercation was, and he has these charges. And you know, the Steelers told him not to report to practice on yesterday, and I'm assuming that he's going to be held at bay, and I'm assuming maybe the NFL will put him on the commissioner's exempt list, and you know, we can pretty much assume that Chickillo is probably going to be, you know, walking away with that little stick and the thing tied on the back, finding another home. It is what it is. What a way to go out. That sucks, right? But hey, it is what it is, you know, and you know, prayers to him and his family and the victim. You know, hopefully, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what that issue is, but even beyond this, maybe they can resolve that. You know, it's always tough to hear about domestic violence situations. It sucks. But anyway, you got to go get Czar skipper. Why not? Hopefully we can get him. Let's hope he's not claimed by somebody else before we have a chance. Now, moving on to the next thing, man. You know, looks like we're going to get some guys back off of injury. TJ Watt, you know, like Tomlin said, he has an abdominal situation, and, you know, they were calling it an oblique last week. But, you know, he sounds a little more optimistic, thinking that guys like TJ and Steven Nelson and those type of guys, you know, Mark Barron, whether, you know, we're in favor of that or not, will be able to get back into the fold. Definitely need that. But what we're also hearing is, you know, we still don't know what's going on with Knicks. You know, that sucks. James Washington, you know, a shoulder injury, and it sounds like he's getting back. You know, these guys have been back, you know, at practice. But the main one, you know, what we're also hearing is Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph is back and available to play, has been fully cleared. And supposedly, you know, from the words of, you know, out the mouth of Mason Rudolph, you know, he was a little frustrated and upset that he was held out of the Chargers game. So I don't know if that means that he couldn't go, or was he not cleared, or was he cleared and, you know, the Steelers decided to hold off. I don't know. But either way, Mike Tomlin has made it very clear, as if you guys didn't know this already, and just like I told you last week, Mason Rudolph will be the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback going into this week. Just like I said, no disrespect to Duck Hodges. I like that kid. The same stuff I said about Mason Rudolph is what I liked about Hodges. His moxie didn't appear to be, you know, a deer in the headlights, so to speak. The moment didn't seem too big, but he just, you know, the game plan just didn't show me enough to say, oh, he definitely needs to start over Rudolph. It didn't. It didn't. Mason Rudolph could have definitely ran the offense the exact same way. So, I'm just saying. I don't know why any of us would be surprised that Mr. Rudolph will be our starting quarterback against the Dolphins. Now, I will say one other quick thing, man, about the Dolphins. You know, like I said, I'll keep it light in this particular show. Like I said, guys, this is going to be a very, very, pretty quick show. We don't have much to talk about. We do have a call in the queue, so I'm definitely going to get that here in a moment. 224, you'll be first. It's this simple, Well, let me go into the title of the video. I almost lost the whole point of the meat, I guess, of this whole stream. Can the Steelers win the AFC North? Do they still have a chance to? I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Kind of going into what I was just about to say, when you face Miami, you got to win this game, period. If you don't win this game, then, I mean, everything that we're feeling right now as far as a little optimism based on the fact that the Steelers looked good against the Chargers, right? Based on the fact that you feel like the Ravens will still have, some tough competition coming up. And let's give a shout out to Droves Hill for the donation. Let's do that really, really quick. Round of applause to Droves, man. I appreciate that. Really, really, really appreciate you, man. And he says, Trevor Lawrence to the Steelers. Hey, man, I don't know. That's going to be interesting. Let's be real about this. It's going to be interesting in a couple years, man, when we expect Ben Roethlisberger to retire. If, of course, if he comes back and everything goes the way he plans, where he's going to play 2 more years, and at that point, Mason Rudolph will be up for a contract. It's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers quarterback position is and who it will be, going into that season. That's going to be interesting. Something we definitely got to keep our eyes on. But yeah, man, just getting back to the Ravens, you feel a little optimistic because you say, okay, the Steelers are not that far back. You were hoping Seattle could get the job done. They could not. Lamar Jackson is an electric football player right now. Let's just give him his props. The kid can run the football. He makes pretty decent decisions in terms of when to take off. Still doesn't scare me passing the ball, but, he does enough to keep you a little honest. And I don't know, man. At this point, I know a lot of people in the media are saying they beat a good team in Seattle. You can look at it like that, and you got to give them their credit, but our Pittsburgh Steelers was very close to winning the game against Seattle as well. So it's not like I feel like anybody that they've beaten already, I don't feel like these are not teams that the Steelers can't play with. And they still got some tough games coming up. They got to play New England. I believe they got to play Houston. Some more teams, I just can't remember who else is on their schedule, but they're getting into the thick of it right now. But if they keep winning, it's getting very close to the point to where the Steelers are going to have to sweep the rest of these games in terms of the division. Meaning, we cannot lose to Cleveland at all, nor can we lose to the Bengals the next go-round, and nor can we lose to the Ravens the next go-round. It's already seeming like we're going to have to do that. And that's a tough task in itself. And then we got some teams in there that could, the Colts are not looking like a bad team at all right now. So this is not going to be a cakewalk. So just to bring the whole thing back home, man, and get back onto my original point, I don't know, man. I don't know if we still have a chance. Do we have a chance? Yes. I just don't feel good about the chance because now we're at a point where we have to rely on the Ravens to lose more games, which they can. And Cleveland. I think we're forgetting about Cleveland. Cleveland is pretty much out of it I won't say they're out of it. They're sitting right there where we are. But we still have to be concerned with them getting on a roll as well. And we have to beat them, and it's no guarantee. So how I feel about this thing, man, at the moment, if the Steelers can't get their offense going, if I don't see some sustainable offense, I'm going to get a little concerned. I just don't know if we have a shot. Who knows how things might shake out, Maybe the other teams continue to lose and we'll be fighting for a wild card. I don't know. But the division is getting close to being out of reach. You know, we really have put ourselves in a point where we almost can't afford to lose. You know, I think a 10-6 might still get it. You know, I think that's fair to say. I don't foresee Baltimore winning more than that. But I think 10-6 could possibly still get the division. I'm not 100% sure that 9-7 can get the division anymore. And I'm fairly certain if we could actually win 10 games, that might be enough to get the wild card. So we'll see, man. But it all comes down to this, and then I'll take the phone calls here. As offense has to get going. We've given so much praise to our defense, and these guys have been playing great. But can they sustain that the whole year? I don't think we can afford to put our defense in a position where they have to win us games the whole year. We got to get to a point where our offense is at least respectable. We don't have a running game like the Ravens do. And let me explain what I mean. The Ravens have a different type of running game. Lamar Jackson, I think they said, is 5th in rushing in the league right now. We don't have that element. All we have is hand it off to Connor, and at this point, hand it off to Snell. The traditional run game. We don't have that X factor in a Lamar Jackson and a read option where we have to worry about him keeping it or quarterback draw. We don't have that dimension. So it'll be easier to start defending the Steelers' run game if we continue to stay one-dimensional like that. Got to get the offense on track, man. And Mason Rudolph, going to have to take some shots, man. Randy Fichtner, you're going to have to scheme this thing up, man, to where guys are getting open and whatever you got to do to get the ball down the field. We got to open the offense up because I think the way our team is right now, if we can play with leads, I think we have a shot with all the rest of our opponents coming up. I think we are in those games if we can get out to a comfortable lead or at least just, you know, pose a threat that we'll be able to score and strike. So we'll see. That was just my quick thoughts. But let's get to the phone calls, man. First up, area code, it will be 224 again, guys. Remember, keep it short, man, in and out. And I'll keep my responses a little less long-winded as well. All right, let's do it. Area code 224. What you got for us, man?
Hey, Sims. This is James from Milwaukee. I think that we're not able to hear you, but I'll just do my quick comment real quick. I just wanted to say that I think that as Steelers fans, I think that we're not seeing this next game as something really important. I think this Dolphins game is going to be really important because I think that if we lose, I think our season's over. But I think if we win, I think that can really give us a good momentum to continue on and maybe get on a good streak and hopefully win a couple more games and be over 500. I just wanted to see what your thoughts are about that, and then that's it. Keep doing everything that you do for Steelers Nation.
Definitely. Thank you for the call, man. And as he stated, he says he can't hear me on the phone. So once again, dealing with that situation, man, with Blog Talk. I see a message here that they say the Skype integration for a host is currently under maintenance. Please connect to the host line with Direct Connect or by phone. I am connected through Direct Connect. Guys, I'm getting tired of this. They had gotten us back together the last two shows, and now this again. Listen, let me say it one more time before I move on. If any of you guys are familiar with any other services like this one, not Skype, not Google Hangouts, if you're familiar with any other services that allow me to have a phone queue that I can queue people up, bring your calls in and out, and it's a phone number that you dial into that is not Blog Talk Radio, holla at me and let me know what it is, because I may have to look into another service. I am not liking what's happening here with Blog Talk Radio. And good job, 224, for remembering what we had to do while they were doing their maintenance. When you hear unmute, just start talking. All right, so I'm about to come to 803. I think he's, been on the show before when this has happened, but let me just repeat it. 803, if you can't hear me on the phone, just start talking as soon as the thing says unmute. We all can hear you and everybody else can hear you, so there you have it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into. Wait, hold on. Nay says Google Hangout is the one, bro. You can use it as an audio only, and it's free. And you just pick. Yeah, but Nays, listen. Let me explain this to you again. I've been doing these things for a long time. When me and my guy Smitty and my guy Zor, when we do the gaming podcast on Thursday, we utilize Google Hangouts. But here's the problem: I don't like services that people need accounts or they need links to join. Just doing study for the numerous years that I've done podcasts, you don't really get the same, interaction. People don't really like that. Most people like a number that they can dial into. The links and all of that and needing an account, and no, I don't want to do none of that. So that's why I said Google Hangouts is done. Out. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But you said most people, but not everybody has it. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to limit anybody. The phone calls, dialing into a phone is open to everybody. I don't want to limit people. And again, Google Hangouts is just not intuitive enough for me. No, I've done that. Nah, I'm not doing that. But anyway, 803, we're about to come to you right now. And again, if you can't hear us, just start talking as soon as the thing says unmute. I'm going to wait 10 seconds and then I'm going to punch it in.
Hey, brother, how you doing this evening? Just want to bring up a question and a point. But the question is, with the chance of making sure we keep our third-round compensatory pick, will we release Dante Moncrief? And my point is, sometimes everybody talk about the moves you make. At this time, it comes down to the move you don't make. Artie Burns was kept, and you know how football is. That's probably a good decision because we need him for the depth chart. And I hope we get two-star skipper because Chickillo left us in a dicey situation with the outside linebacker position. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thank you, 803, man. I'm upset that I can't reply back to you guys. And 224, man, I got to apologize to you. Getting caught up in the phone conversation there, I kind of forgot what your question was. Man, if you could do me a favor, if you're listening in still, if you can, put that in the chat really quick. I definitely want to get back to your question. What 803 said, answering his question, that is a good question. I believe the Ravens just did that, if I'm not mistaken. They released somebody, and it was basically because of that. The speculation was to save the compensatory pick. I'm not against it when we're talking about Moncrief. Moncrief is not really, unless he's gonna come around later, which he could. I'm one of those people, I don't like to just throw people in the trash for no reason. He had a couple bad drops, and of course, our trust is not there with him. But maybe he comes around later. Who knows? But if you can do that before week 10, and especially if you can tell that the season is not going anywhere, why not? Why not? And I see Nays in here saying, forget that pick. And listen, it's like I always say, guys, we all have our difference of opinions, so I'm just in the business of stating my opinion, and that's that. We can all debate it, but I'm going to try to shy away from, going down rabbit holes a little bit here on the show. I know you guys look forward to hearing my opinion, but I'm going to try my best to not go back and forth with clear differences of opinion. I'll let you guys do that in the chat. But I will just comment on the comment of saying, forget that pick. I don't think we could be like that, because we are going into this draft at the moment with no first round pick. So you definitely want to make sure you have as many picks as possible, because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the formula. I don't know which one the Moncrief pick gets us. I don't know which round, but I'm in favor of them being able to acquire as many picks as possible, however they can do it, that's not detrimental to the team. Those are just my thoughts. Why not? If Moncrief ain't giving us nothing by week 10 and we're pretty much looking like we're out of it, why not? Why not? What I don't think is going to happen is I don't think that we're going to trade Javon Hargrave. I don't foresee that happening at this moment because of the injury to it. And the Steelers probably believe right now that they still have a chance. They probably believe that they still have a chance. So there you have it, man. It's really going to come down to this week. If they lose to the Miami Dolphins, and I got to admit, it scares me because they have no wins. That scares me. I don't look at NFL teams that are they're just pushovers. And I know we should look at teams that are trash for the most part. We should look at those teams and say we should run them over. But I'm just not sure. And I don't think it's one of those Steelers playing down to the competition types of things. I don't think it's that, to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with y'all real quick, and then we'll take this next call. I would go along with that theory if we were fully loaded. Meaning, if Ben Roethlisberger was still running the ship and it was business as usual with the Steelers, right? But the fact that we're still shaky with our quarterbacks, the fact that in these games that these quarterbacks have played, meaning Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, the fact that we haven't yet identified what the scheme really is, and we don't have a real identity on offense, that doesn't make me think we just gonna blow the doors off of the Dolphins. It doesn't, because our team is kind of in limbo. None of us know. At this moment, none of us know the game plan. None of us can say, this is how we're going to attack them. We don't know. You would think, yeah, they're going to try to run the football, but I'm telling you, man, I don't think our running game, to me, is not that strong where we can just lean on it. You saw what we had to do against the Bengals. We came out with the Wildcat and got that done. And the defense played great. And they were a sorry team at the moment. We took care of business. It's also a divisional opponent. That matters. You would think the Steelers will go in here and, be able to beat the Dolphins on Monday night in Heinz Field, in the color rush jerseys, all of those, those streaks that you want to throw on there. Excuse me. But that's the same reason why I'm like, I don't know. No team wants to lose every single game. They might come out and play. Just saying. And I don't trust these quarterbacks at the moment because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen them quarterbacking. Mason Rudolph has shown us a little more, but it still doesn't seem like, working the ball down the field has been a part of the plan. Until I see that we can be more balanced and there's a threat of that, I don't know. Flores and them dudes can say, well, we know how to play this guy. And they might mess around and get a win. I'm just saying. All right, area code 281. Again, I don't think you guys are able to hear me on the phone, so let me just, say this now. When you hear unmute, it's going to say unmuted. Just start talking. We can all hear you. You just, for whatever reason, can't hear me on the phone. Apologize for that, man. It's Blog Talk messing up again. So I'm going to allow 10 seconds to pass because I know there's a little delay there. So, again, when you hear unmuted, just come on in. 10-second hold right here.
Hey, Sam. I love your YouTube channel. Love everything you do. I just wanted your opinion and thoughts on the Chickillo situation. Do you personally think we should release him? And that's it. Thank you.
Oh, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Look at that. Quick call in and out. And you guys can hear the call, right? Y'all confirm that. Y'all can hear the call. And, yeah, man, I just don't understand what's happening with this phone thing. Man, drop my headphones there, guys. It drives me crazy, man, when the show can't kick off the way it's supposed to. But yes, I will comment on that really quick. I think we should release him, more than likely. Why not? Because the last thing the Steelers need, even though, again, it doesn't look like we're having a great season, the last thing we need is any type of distraction, right? And, if it's a legal thing, then the league is probably going to step in, and especially if he gets put on the, the list of what is it, the exception list, and he can't play anyway, might as well cut ties. It's very likely that we would cut ties with him after this season anyway, even though he signed a 2-year deal. Might as well. And again, like I said, I don't know the facts, so I don't want to just speculate. I think that's what's wrong sometimes with public opinion anyway. Court of public opinion, y'all know how that works. There's always some speculation when you don't know the facts, so I don't want to point the finger at him. But, the facts at the moment are this woman said that, his lady, that there was an altercation and she showed visual evidence of some abuse to her. Then he got arrested, and there's 3 charges. So again, God bless him and her, and hopefully things can work it out. And if they decide to continue to be together, hopefully this was one of them situations that got out of hand. You should never do that, but people make mistakes. But if he did it, he deserves to pay the crime, man. It just is what it is. But yeah, I think we should go ahead and release him. Anthony Chickillo hasn't really offered us anything. I mean, he does help us on special teams, but come on, man. You got baggage now too. Might as well go ahead and clip it. All right, so we'll take one more call, man. Because like I said, the phone queue is not working, man. So I'm not gonna, keep it open much longer. Anyway, the show is about to wrap up. We didn't have much to talk about tonight. But area code 334, I'm sure you've been listening in, but let me just remind you again, for whatever reason, you guys are unable to hear me in the phone. You can only hear me in the stream. So when you hear the words unmuted, just start talking. We can all hear you. I'll wait 10 seconds, then I'll bring you in.
What's up, big boy? Sam. You hear me, Sam?
I can hear you.
Thumb up or something, Yes. Okay. Then that's good. You got a drag there. You got a lag. But we still, as a Steeler unit, still looking for an identity. We're still looking for an identity on the offensive side of the ball. And I believe that RPO can really benefit us. So we need to stick to that and get rid of that wildcat and Rudolph is still on protocol.
And we're getting some negative feedback there with the call, man. I had to go ahead and cut that one off there. That's our guy. We usually enjoy when he calls in, man. But for whatever reason, it was real choppy and you're fading in and out. But I did get enough to be able to comment on part of what you said. We got to get the identity. We have to find an identity. And this is the time to do it. You're 2-4. You have a guy, Mason Rudolph, that you need to learn about, whether or not he is the heir to Ben Roethlisberger, whether or not he is the, bona fide number 2 to Ben Roethlisberger when he returns, all of that. Whether or not he's capable of winning games, or Duck Hodges, because some of you guys want Duck in there. But I'm talking to Randy Fichtner. You have to create an identity. If you don't think these guys are capable and you're coming up with a different scheme every week, hey, if you can continue to do that and we win games, hats off to Randy Fichtner. But I don't think that's going to work. Develop an identity, stick with that identity, and try to make that work. And if it doesn't, oh well. See you next season. But there you have it. But all right, man, let me jump into the chat for a few minutes, man. And we're going to wrap this thing up at about 45 minutes. We almost made it to an hour. But, again, I'm always surprised when there's more to talk about than I expect. So I'll sit in here for about 5 minutes, man. Y'all fire away. Debbie is responding. Hey, how you doing, Debbie? She's responding to my father-in-law, Leonard, there. Leonard says, yes, we knew this before the season started. Guys, conversations about this team with Leonard, man, it's so funny. That's all I'm gonna say. Debbie says, Leonard, Washington was to step up, and Deontay has been getting by people. They need synergy. Thank you, Debbie. This is what I be trying to explain to my father-in-law. Like I said, it all goes back, guys, to, like I said, everybody, and this is no slight to anybody, and I'm not just talking about Leonard or anybody else. I'm just talking about in general. A lot of times when people watch football, they're not looking at the ins and outs. Most people are results driven. I'll give you a perfect example. I love basketball, but I'm not a X's and O's basketball guy, right? So I've been guilty of times being like, man, this dude is a bum. This dude is done. This dude is that. But I don't know all of the working parts. Then when I started learning a little more about basketball, I said, oh, so he doesn't fit in that scheme. Oh, the triangle offense ain't good for that team. I started learning that, and I saw things differently. So now I understand the different pieces that, like, my 76ers acquire. When it was times when I was like, why are you picking that dude up? Why you understand what I'm saying? I had to learn that. And I still don't know all of the hardcore, hardwood stuff of basketball. And that's how it is with a lot of people who watch football. A lot of people just go off of results. See, we should have kept that guy. Oh, see, we should pick that guy. See, we should have that guy. And I'm like, you're looking at one game. Case in point. And this is a conversation we just had the other day. You know, we were talking about Golden Tate. And I was saying in the beginning of the season, Golden Tate is not a commodity anymore. He's not a guy that you must have. And Golden Tate has been relatively quiet for the season for a lot of different reasons. But he was having a few catches on Sunday. And then Leonard was saying to me, see, you said ain't nobody want him and he's balling. I'm like, that's one game. And it ain't like he got off in that game. This was early on in the game when he had a few catches. How did he end up? So my whole point is for us to say that the Steelers knew they didn't have no receivers going into the season. That is entirely not true. Clearly, they thought that they had guys that could do the job. They brought in Moncrief, whether we agree or not with that. It is what it is. But I don't think we can sit here and act as if James Washington sucks. Deontay Johnson ain't doing nothing. I don't think we can say any of that. Look at who's quarterbacking. Again, and maybe I should have did that tonight and I didn't do it. Maybe we should have just watched film and I could show you guys what's really happening with some of these receivers. The game plan they're not involved. Especially against the Chargers. There was no game plan for the wide receivers. I'm here to tell you that. Mason Rudolph hasn't really taken a lot of shots down the field. Here and there, a few. Had a decent game against the Niners. He looked decent in that. But I'm here to tell you that offense is just not clicking. And a big part of that is from Randy Ficht. Guys, think about this. For everybody who is blaming the receivers, think about this. You guys know yourselves that the game plan has changed week to week. Has it not? So if we know that, 1 week we running Wildcat most of the night against the Bengals, how can we put any of this on the receivers? Now, the truth will come out soon, because I think here now, as we continue to go, they're gonna have to drop back and pass the football. Then we're gonna see. Then we're gonna see who's getting open and who's not, and what the quarterbacks are doing and what they're not doing. And just like Debbie said, Deontay Johnson has been getting some separation. If you really hone in on, I'm telling you, I can show you plays right now where quarterback wasn't even looking his way and he was open. You just can't focus on results until you know what's happening. If that makes sense. Again, guys, I know it's not going to make sense to everybody, and I don't blame you for that. I'm just saying, if you come here to watch this show and I happen to have some football knowledge, I gotta spew that back to you guys, just so I can kind of tell you, well, things ain't always what you think it is. Some things are clear, black and white. A lot of things is not exactly what you think it is. But anyway, let me get back into the chat, man. A few more of these, and then we'll get out of here. Why Diggy says bringing Skipper back would be ideal due to him knowing the defense. We're 10th in the waiver order with the Giants at 9th. Okay, I hope, man. We got to get him back. Keith says, Kenyon, I am a damer and he is better than you thought. Okay, I'm not sure who you guys are referring to. Big Marv says Juju definitely have to concentrate on protecting the ball in key moments of the game. I absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Nays says, I mean, they have to game plan that way because they are not getting open. Okay, Nays, we appreciate your your opinion there. We all got them. I mean, I'm seeing slightly different things when I look at the film. But again, that's not to say every play. I'm sure there are plays that the receivers are not getting open. But another thing that I think a lot of people don't consider, they are playing other NFL players. I don't know how we can expect these receivers to be open every play. I don't know. It's just so many factors. When we start talking football, it's just so many factors that everybody doesn't take in consideration. And maybe because I played the game, man, and the knowledge is, I just see it different. We got a donation, man. I don't want to forget that. Boulevard Ware, round of applause. Appreciate the donation, man. Really, really, really appreciate that. Let's get back into the chat, man. A few more and then we out of here, man. What is that? Sergeant A.S. Kicker. I know what he's trying to say. He says, what are the odds that the Steelers play down to the Dolphins and come away with an L? As a huge Steelers fan, I have seen it happen a ton of times. You're right. You're right. Also, I will say this. I will argue both sides of that coin. This team feels different, especially defensively, that I'm not as concerned about that anymore, because this season so far has shown us that the Steelers have played pretty consistently with everybody, and the team like the Bengals that we should have beat, we stumped. But the flip side of that coin is, again, the quarterback situation scares me, man. It scares me. I don't know what the plan is going to be with Rudolph. And again, that's not a negative, comment towards him. It's just I don't know what Fichtner's plan is going to be. Our offense has not clicked. There's no identity. So if you can't score points, you can't win, man. You can't expect the defense to get 4 turnovers every game. Smitty says, I thought all of the teams that faced Lamar Jackson, the Steelers, contained him the best with their pass rush plan and forcing 3 picks. We did, man. But it just sucks that this ain't horseshoes. It always sucks. All these games we almost won. Too bad it ain't horseshoes, man. Shrek Pig says, gaming. Occasional vlogs, they always find a while to what? They always find he says wow, but I think he says way to dead themselves out of. I don't know what you're saying. I can't fill in the blanks there. I think you might have, autocorrect may have got you, but I'm gonna read it how he wrote it. He says they always find a while to dig themselves out of. I guess he's saying out of trouble. I predict they will finish around anywhere from 8 to 8 or 10 and 6. Okay, I see what you're trying to say. I think autocorrect got you right there. But he's basically saying they always find a way to dig themselves out of a hole. He predicts that we'll finish around 8 and 8 or 10 and 6. That's possible. That's possible. The Mexican Chicken says we need to be better at closing out games. Absolutely. And Jesse George, yeah, I mean the Niners are undefeated and we should have won that game. I'm just saying, man. A lot of people's vitriol and opinion and hate towards certain players and this and that, I'm telling you, is because of the results. And I get it, but we were in all of these games, man. Vodka Drinker says, we need our offense coordinator to tailor fit this offense to our quarterback strength going forward. I couldn't agree more. Verducci Man says, it is Murphy's Law that the Steelers D will finally click when Ben goes down and the offense fails. I'm telling you, man. What is that Mike Tomlin said? The defense and offense just cannot play in concert. I don't understand what's happening there, man. Mr. Ab says, in years past, yes, we have played down to teams, but how a fans thinking this team is even close to the playoff team with our injuries and thinking they are playing down to someone we are managing. Man, I'm going to give Mr. Abs a round of applause. Look, man, I don't always like to be the bad guy. I love when you guys can say exactly what I'm thinking. That is exactly how I feel. Remember I told you guys like 4 weeks ago my expectations were out the window. How we playing down the competition and we 2-4? Those are just the facts. Now, I get it. A lot of us, we're still, this is us, man. We black and gold, through and through. We bleed it. And you just can't, the pride just gets in the way. But we are a 2-4 football team with a second-string quarterback, a third-string undrafted quarterback who started last week. We're not a good football team overall. We are judging our Steelers based off of potential, but it is what it is. We're 2-4, and our franchise quarterback is out for the season. This is not a playoff team. Even if we crawl our way to the playoffs, who are we going to beat? Seriously, unless this offense takes a dramatic turn. Got to be realists, guys. We have to be realists when we talk about these things. Now, I'm not saying it's over. We could still eke out the division some kind of way. We could go on some type of streak, but I don't believe that today is what I'm saying. I just don't believe that. So if they lost to the Dolphins, we're going to say, oh man, how do you lose to a team that's 0-7 or whatever they are? But it ain't like the Steelers are 4-2, 6-0, 5-1, nothing like that. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Abs. Absolutely right. Let me see what Kenyon talk about here, man. It's Kenyon and Leonard going back and forth here. Let me read y'all their comment. Leonard says, Kenyon, you can cover wide receivers with single coverage. Your defense will stop everything else. Kenyon says, Han Ward, Chris Carter, Jerry Rice all ran 4.6 or slower last time I checked, and they were #1 receivers. Absolutely. So somebody's probably saying that Juju doesn't have the speed. That's what I'm assuming. So then Kenyon says, I agree, Kenyon, but they could get open. I don't know. Again, like I said, I'm not going to debate and argue opinions. I'm just saying. Look at the film, guys, and listen. Just look at the film. I don't believe that you're going to see every single time that the receivers are not getting open. You're not going to see that every time. I promise you. You're not going to see it every time. I promise you it's not completely the receivers. I guarantee you that. I've watched. It's not all on the receivers. Trust me. But it is what it is. But all right, man, I guess we'll go ahead and get out of here, man. And we pretty much almost made the hour, man. We had 53 minutes. What is this Jesse saying? Jesse George says, Juju is a monster. You can't judge him without our start. Man, Jesse, this is what I'm saying. All I'm merely saying to anybody who feels like our receivers are trash. Let me start off by saying this. I'm talking to Nays, Leonard. Hear me and hear me good. Juju and the rest of this receiver core could very well end up being trash. All we're saying is, how can we judge that now? With no Ben Roethlisberger, and we clearly see with our own eyes that these quarterbacks are not prioritizing passing the football. I mean, are we all blind or what? We were protecting Duck Hodges. Clearly. And then the one time he takes a real shot down the field, intercepted. Bad decision. I'm just saying, guys, and I know people are going to say, well, look at the New England game. Yeah, but look at New England. Who's beat them? New England is out there shutting down people with cover one. Cover one. Did y'all see last night it was times they were just in zero? They were in cover zero quite often. It was like, yeah, beat us. You can't do it. And why the NFL Network do that to that boy, man? Why they put that public? Sam Donald saying, I see ghosts out there. Why did they do that? But this is what I'm saying. New England is just that deal right now. They're playing good football. Their defense is up in your face. We're going to go cover one on you and dare you. Dare you. Take a chance. And it just is what it is. They ain't doing nothing exotic. They're not. But like I said, we take that game away and look at the game plan the rest of the way with these quarterbacks. It is not all on these receivers. It's not. Juju has been open. Deontay Johnson has been open. Are we forgetting the shots that Mason Rudolph has taken down the field and he missed the guys? Are we forgetting the double move that Juju got open on last week and was missed first play of the game? I'm just saying. You cannot judge these guys at the moment without a solidified quarterback. And even if it's not a bona fide superstar quarterback, without the Steelers offense actively trying to move the ball down the field, throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field. That's all I'm saying. But like I said again, let me call it out. Nays, Leonard, because you're the main two guys saying it. It could very well end up that these dudes suck. All I'm saying is it is way too early for anybody to be saying that. Based off of the Steelers quarterback situation. Those are just, I mean, I'm not going to say they're facts, but come on, man. That's the obvious. That's the obvious. So, I don't know. That's all I got. Oh, my cousin Floyd, man. My big brother Floyd. I got to read his comment before I get out of here. He says, if we had a healthy Ben, we could very well be 5-1. With Juju and Deontay Johnson looking great, but now our schedule in D, we will look okay. But everything comes down to Mason and how we use him. Floyd, I'm telling you, man, it should be easy to see that. But, you know, it is what it is. And by the way, I'm calling it right now. My little nephew, Floyd's son, maybe 1 year, maybe about, let me see, Floyd, what we got? Maybe about 5 years. We might see him on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to put that in the air. My little nephew bad, man. And the funny thing is, man, if Floyd noticed, I ain't know he was that nice. I had no idea. And I am beyond proud. The boy is nice. Love it. Got a little speed on him. Man. But anyway, gonna get out of here, man. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Sorry for you. The phone queue still not working. I got to get back on the phone with them. I don't know what they're doing. Be back at it again. But anyway, man, I didn't think we were going to get an hour done tonight, and we did on the bye week. So come Saturday, I believe, probably Saturday. I can't give you a time. I told you guys, I'm fair with you on that. I can't never commit to when I'm going to do the pregame show, but it should be on Saturday. We'll talk a little bit about, man, what I think we need to do to win this game. It should be obvious. But I haven't watched any Dolphins film. I don't know what they got going on. All I know is they haven't won a game. Control the tempo. Take some shots down the field. But we'll talk a little bit more about it on the pregame. But outside of that, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cut on your notifications so you know when the videos are live. And please do me a favor and hit that like button. And just like the guys did here tonight, if you feel like you would like to donate, feel free. Right here in the chat, click the $sign, have at it. If you prefer to do it outside of YouTube, which is the way I prefer it, by the way. And shout outs, real quick. Shout outs to those people who've actually donated this past week through PayPal. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, man. I'm going to try to respond to you guys as well. But if you prefer that method, that information is in the description. There's PayPal and there's Cash App. But again, don't feel like you have to, man. It's just if you feel the need, the option is there. Always appreciate it. never required. But all right, I'm out of here, man. I got to go eat some dinner tonight. Enjoy some NBA tonight, man. I'm going to definitely be watching the Lakers and Clippers. See what's shaking out there. So until next time, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Be safe. God bless. Here we go, Steelers. And I'll see you guys later. And thank you for tuning in to the Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.